How we bumped into the credit space is
Mm.
we wanted to learn pretty much how to travel for free. You see other entrepreneurs, they are going to Maldives and to all these places, and everything led to US credit.
Okay. And I've had a lot of businesses and I've gotten some business credit cards, but it hasn't been that easy. And I think it might be easier than what my experience has been, or there are ways around it that maybe I haven't learned or investigated enough. What I've gotten has always been with a personal guarantee.
That's right. Our
Yeah.
most common question is, how do I get business credit without personal guarantee?
What is the credit score that you consider good? Because I remember in New York when I used to do apartment rentals, like if somebody had more than 650, we were like, okay, that's good. But I know a lot of people are like, no, it has to be 750 or more. So like, what do you guys consider to be good credit?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Audacious Founder Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Manning. This show is for the person who knows they're built for more. Welcome to your next level. Welcome to the Audacious Founder Podcast. My name is Melissa Manning. I am an audacious founder and your financial expert. Today, I'm very excited to meet with Gina, also known as Gina Travelina, co-founder of Credit to Millionz. They are passionate about helping business owners leverage credit in the US, get $100,000 to $300,000 in business funding, and educate people on how to travel in luxury for a fraction of the cost. So that is precisely why I wanted to interview her, because I have not been travel hacking and I have so many clients that are travel hacking, and I need to learn more about this so that I can start traveling in luxury more than I'm not traveling in luxury right now. And I need to be doing more of it. So Gina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast with me, and you're about to educate me. So let's go.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here and educate others about traveling. Traveling is my passion, as Melissa said, since I was a kid, pretty much. So, yeah, let's go.
Where's your favorite place that you've traveled?
Probably the Maldives. It's as dreamy as it looks like.
Really?
And
Okay, that's on my list.
yeah, the Maldives and Dubai. I love Dubai. There's so much to do there.
What was your favorite thing about Dubai? Like, what you say there was so much to do there. What did you do and what was your favorite thing?
So we went to the Dubai Expo where all the countries of the world, they have a tent and they are pretty much an exhibition and some show and showcasing the countries. And obviously you cannot go to all of them, but you can pick a few.
Yeah.
And I really like that. We're now thinking to go to Saudi Arabia because of that, because we really like the Dubai Expo, what they are showcasing there. And the Dubai, the history was fascinating. Like they built the whole Dubai within 50 years. Like if you see pictures before, there was nothing. And the city has so many world records. Like they have the biggest fountain. They have the deepest pool. They have the highest building, not the Burj Arab, what is it? The Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, highest building, highest restaurant. And yeah, it's just amazing. They just keep on racking up these records.
Okay, so you hear this, right, people? Okay, we got to learn how to travel in luxury all the way to Dubai so that we can experience all these world records.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, so first, Gina, I even want to learn more about you and like how you got into this business. I know you do this with your fiance, but like, how did you guys get into this? How did you start? How long have you been doing it?
Okay, so long story short, I'm originally from Hungary. I grew up in Hungary. Then I lived in Austria, in Vienna, for 8 years. And I was in corporate. I was a sales manager. And how everything started is actually I was going through like a bad breakup. And my idea was to leave the city. I applied for the working holiday visa in Australia. So my plan was to go for a year to Australia and travel around. And pretty much figure out how to make money online. Back in time, I thought I have to be a travel blogger, and that's the only way to be
Okay.
traveling. Like I knew that traveling was always my passion, and I thought, okay, nobody's holding me back now. First time in my life, I didn't have a plan, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I just knew I will figure it out somehow. So yeah, I sold my furniture, quit my apartment, I left. And before Australia, I went to Thailand with my best friend. So we planned like a trip there. And actually, that's where I met my fiance. We met in Thailand.
Wait, where, like, what were you doing in Thailand that you just, I don't know, you happened to start talking to each other?
Yeah, so we were like traveling around. We had the whole plan, like going from Bangkok, Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, all these famous
You have
islands.
such a good memory, like with all these names and cities and restaurants and buildings. Wow. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. Like,
You're
since
welcome.
I was a kid, geography was my favorite subject. So, but yeah, so we were traveling around, and we met in Koh Samui. So in Koh Samui, it was also rainy season, so there were not many people in Thailand. And we went to like Nikki Beach. It's a chain, so we were like, okay, let's go
Yeah, there's
there.
one in Miami.
Yeah. So it's where we are going to Nikki Beach, and we go in there and there's nobody except two guys. So there was Eduardo and his new friend sitting there, and his friend starts to wave at us, and we're like, do we know these people? I'm like, no, but let's go. I want to see the ocean too. So I want to sit in front of the ocean, right? So we go there, and then we started to talk. Obviously, we liked each other with Eduardo, and we spent the whole day there. And I don't know, after I was like, oh, we are going to Koh Phangan. Like, do you want to travel with us? So he was like traveling with us the next 2 weeks pretty much. Yeah, my friend didn't like his friend, so we didn't invite his new friend. But on his side, his part of the story is that he was with a group there, and he used to work oil and gas. He also quit his job and he went with the group, kind of like a personal development program. And that was their final Thailand trip. He had an accident. Long story short, he got punched out pretty much like by a ladyboy, or we don't know by who. So he didn't get into a fight or anything like that.
Yeah.
He said, how someone was asking him, how do you like Thailand? And he was like, I like it, but I don't know if there who's a girl and who's a ladyboy. And he woke up on the floor. They broke his cheekbone. He's
Oh
like,
my
I
God.
I was not meaning it mean or anything like that. So he had to have plastic surgery. And by the way, American Express covered his whole surgery. So that's why
Wow.
it's always important to pay by credit card because of the insurance and all the other benefits too. And that's why actually he decided to stay longer, because he's like, why am I going home after the surgery? I haven't seen a bunch
So
of
how
parties.
long was he there? Like how long did that last? Like that he was in the hospital, had to get surgery and then had to recover. How long did that take?
I mean, he was there for a week with the group, and then
Okay.
he had the surgery, and he was 3 days in a hospital. And when I met him, it was okay already. So it was not swollen anymore. So yes. And then, so we met, and then we started to travel with us too. And I'm like, I'm going to Australia for a year. So that was my plan. And after Thailand, he went back in time. He lived in Canada, and I was in Australia. And I'm like, you know what? I heard the East Coast road trip in Australia is pretty cool. So if you want to do that with me. So he came back to Australia. We did the East Coast road trip. So that was kind of like when you're traveling with someone, you are getting to know the person for sure. Because when you're traveling, there's always troubleshooting, there's always something coming up.
You have to
So
deal with stress and pressure and unexpected
yes.
plans. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I think since then we are inseparable. That was
Wow.
like 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And after that, his partner started an Airbnb business in Miami.
Okay.
So that's how we moved originally to Miami. And we were talking on the phone, and he was like, you know what? I don't want distance relationship. So come to Miami and help, like, let's work together and we will figure it out. I'm like, okay, I will be a no return package. If I live here, I don't go back to Australia. So we kind of working together since the beginning, because we both quit our job. He just started the Airbnb and also started to work a little bit online with Instagram and Instagram marketing. So that was the beginning of the journey pretty much. And then how we bumped into the credit space is we wanted to learn pretty much how to travel for free. And you go on Instagram and you follow these travel bloggers. And I'm like, how do they travel for free? And then you see other entrepreneurs, they are going to Maldives and to all these places. And everything led to US credit.
Okay.
So, so Eduardo grew up in Colombia. He used to live in Canada. So none of us had, I mean, US credit, or like none of us are residents in the US. But he took like a mentorship first and we started to learn about it. And we are like, wow, that's the key to everything. Like as a business owner, you need to build credit and have business credit cards. And once you have the business pen, business credit cards, you will get points, but then how to redeem the points, right? To get the most out of it and travel to all these places. So I'm really passionate about that.
Okay. And I've had a lot of businesses and I've gotten some business credit cards, but it hasn't been that easy. And I think it might be easier than what my experience has been, or there are ways around it that maybe I haven't learned or investigated enough. What I've gotten has always been with a personal guarantee.
That's right. Our most common question is, how do I get business credit without personal guarantee? And I know there are some people online who will tell you you can have business credit without personal guarantee. Yes, if you're making like 4 million a year, sure, but you will have to provide the documents and everything like that. So that's kind of a myth. So you still have to have your personal credit in order, because your banks will do, some of the banks will do a hard pull, but a soft pull, and they will look at your credit, because you will be the guarantor for your business. If you have a business partner, you can apply in both of your names, right?
So it's almost like you have a co-signer or something, or at least if they have better credit than you, it balances out.
You can apply with their name.
Yeah. And what do you, because you're always, I'm assuming that you're always checking people's credit and qualifying people. And so what is the credit score that you consider good? Because I remember in New York when I used to do apartment rentals, like if somebody had more than 650, we were like, okay, that's good. But I know a lot of people are like, no, it has to be 750 or more. So like, what do you guys consider to be good credit?
Yeah, over 700 is good credit. The main thing is that ideally you don't have any negative remarks on your credit, because if you have some, then you need to go through credit repair. We don't do specifically credit repair. We always refer to our partners, but once your credit is aligned, then we can help you.
I like that you are talking about that personal guarantee thing is pretty much a myth, because even now in Tardus, I mean, that was my experience, right? That for the most part, I always needed to at least have them do a soft pull, and my personal information was always associated or linked with the account. But I have so many clients that are trying to get credit where they are not personally on it. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, good luck. And especially because they're trying to get credit on a business that they've just started. So it doesn't have any revenue, or it has very minimal revenue, and they're wanting to get credit on it without personal guarantee. And then they're surprised or frustrated that it's not really working, or that it takes a while. So I like that you clarified that a bit.
Yes, also with new businesses, obviously it's harder, but you have to go confident to the bank and to the banker and come up with your story, right? And with your projections and how much your company will be making, and say it very confident. You cannot go to the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I just started my business. I don't have any revenue. Do you give me $100,000? No, it doesn't work that way, but
do you think like relationships matter in terms of getting business credit? Like, because what you're just saying is you walk into the bank, it's not only about the numbers on the paper, it's about your projection, it's about how you are holding yourself and the confidence you see in the business. And so I'm just wondering, like, is the banker vouching for you sometimes part of the equation, or like pushing things through for you? Is that part of the equation? Like, do you guys do that for your clients?
Yes, so we work with a lot of relationship managers, and they send our clients to underwriting, and they're saying they're like 800 different criterias. So every profile is different.
Yeah.
But main thing is credit score. It's definitely a big factor. Ideally over 700, at least 680. No negative remarks. They also, when you go for funding rounds or applying for something, make sure your utilization is under 10%.
That's very low.
Yeah, before you go for funding and apply, because you will get better approvals.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, make sure you don't have more than 1 or 2 inquiries in the last 6 months.
Okay. These are
If
really good tips.
if you have some, you can always remove the ones which are not attached to open accounts. So
How do you
that's,
do that?
yeah, you can just call Experian.
Oh,
Experian is pretty easy. TransUnion, Equifax, sometimes you have to send letters, but
and if you remove it, like if you call Experian, and you get them to remove. So just to reiterate what you said, if you apply for an account and you get denied, so it doesn't result in a new open account on your credit report, you can get that inquiry removed, right?
yes,
And so
exactly.
my question is, if you were to call Experian and get it removed, would it also remove on the other, like TransUnion and Equifax?
I mean, depends. So every bank is pulling from different credit bureau. So there's just only Capital One pulling from all three. That's
Okay.
why me personally, I don't like Capital One that much.
Capital One
But
approves me more than the other ones.
no, because they are pulling from all bureaus. So you will
Okay.
have three inquiries pretty much on all of them.
Okay.
So it will be harder to remove.
Okay.
But yeah, it's possible to remove. And then what they are looking, the bankers looking at too, is that on your personal profile, do you have a thin or a built out profile? What it means, like 5 or 10 accounts are ideal on your profile. Like accounts meaning credit cards and everything what reports to your credit report, like credit cards, loans, mortgages. So at least you should have 5 on your personal side. So you get better approval on the business side.
Oh, I do have a question about this. I don't know if this is true or just a rumor, but I was told that car loans are something good to have on your credit report. Like it's almost like a good kind of debt to have, similar to like if somebody's saying a student loan is a good debt, right? I heard that like even if you were to pay off a car loan and so now it's not on your credit report at all, that may even hurt you because having that car loan on there is a good thing. Is there any weight to that?
Yeah, it's back to what I said before. It's like having 5 or 10 accounts and including a car loan or other loans.
Okay.
That helps your credit report for sure and your credit score because they will see, also make sure you make your payments on time. Obviously, it is not good if you're not making your payments,
Yeah.
but if you do, that definitely helps.
Okay. And so now going like leaning now towards the travel hacking. So you mentioned Capital One, you mentioned Amex. Out of all of the, what do we call them, credit card companies, who do you favor? Who do you like the best? Who offers the best rewards for traveling?
One of my favorite banks and credit card is Chase, but they are also hardest to get because they have a 524 rule. For example, you cannot have 5 or more credit cards in the last 24 months. So you always have to apply for Chase first and then the other ones, because they care a lot about the inquiries. But I like on the personal side, the Chase Sapphire Reserve. It's a pretty good travel credit card. They give you access to you get the priority pass, so you get access to the lounge. Then you get also 3 times points, and they have a lot of transfer partners like Hyatt hotels and also a lot of airline transfers. So I like the Chase. Amex has good cards, American Express, depending what's your preference, like which airlines are you flying with, what hotels you prefer. For example, we stay a lot in Marriott hotels, in Marriott brands, like we love the St. Regis, the Luxury Collection, the Westins. Yeah, so it's good to have one of those branded credit cards, like we have the Amex Marriott. We also have the Hilton. We don't travel that much in Hiltons, but these ones are definitely good. Yeah, Chase, Amex, then what else? I fly a lot American Airlines. So I have the Citi American Airlines Premier MasterCard, which is also nice because you collect like miles of any spend. And I think there was a 70,000 sign-up bonus. That's another thing where in travel hacking, you can double dip on sign-up bonuses. You can do like a credit card sequence, which means applying for like 10 credit cards at one time and getting all the sign-up bonuses. That's how you're able to rack up points quicker than usual, right?
Okay, so hearing you say that, I hear the voices of my clients being like, 10 cards at the same time, my credit score is going to go down because of all those inquiries.
Exactly, but you can remove the ones which
That don't
are
result
not
in anything.
approved.
And then
Yeah,
now you've got all of these points, 70,000 plus all the other ones. And yeah.
yeah, exactly. For example, some people love the American Express Platinum card. I don't know, it's not my favorite credit card, but the sign-up bonus is pretty nice. I think it was an offer now for 120,000 points. The American Express Centurion lounges, like talking about lounges, is the nicest one, that's for sure.
I've heard.
If you're using all the benefits, that's fine. What I would do, I would apply for it, and maybe in the second year, I would downgrade to an American Express Gold card because the annual fee is $695, right?
$700 a year for the card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's a
you get
flight.
like 200 airline credit and TSA credit and Uber credit and all these other credits. So it adds up.
But then if you downgrade, I'm asking you very specific questions about the card, so I don't know if
Yeah,
you're going to know
that's
that.
fine.
But if you downgrade to the gold card, would you lose those? Like you don't get those benefits then?
Yeah, you won't get those benefits. But I mean, if you don't use all the benefits in the second year or you travel less, you can always downgrade. If you keep on using it, yeah, just keep it.
Right, right. And if you're using all of those benefits like constantly, then obviously it makes sense. Okay. And so now, like, is it that simple though? So, like, you sign up for these cards, you get the points, and then you use the points to go on trips. Is that really all it is? Or is there more to it?
Yeah, obviously, you also have to know how to research and redeem your points the best way.
Oh,
So the best way is always to transfer to the airline or travel partner. Like never book on the portal. Booking on the American Express travel portal actually is the worst redemption of points.
okay. Okay. So let me reiterate that. If I have an American Express card and I've got, I don't know how many points, like tons of points, and I'm about to plan a trip and I want to go ahead and book my flight, do not book it on the Amex site. Go to American Airlines site or Google, could I go to Google Flights and book it? Well, that'll probably send me to American Airlines anyway.
Yes. So if you're planning to book with points, first you have to check your route. Let's say, because we were talking about Dubai, let's say you want to fly Emirates to Dubai. The main thing is also to check the airplane types, right? Because the Emirates has the A380, which is the double decker, which
This is getting really complicated now.
because business or first class has a difference if you book like a different route. Because we went to Dubai on Emirates. That was one of our bucket lists. But the A380, it flies from New York. So New York, Dubai, they have the double decker.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I live in a cave.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to go to another city to have a better experience, let's say.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of my favorite ones.
Were you on the second level or the bottom level of the double decker?
We were on the second level, like we were first class. So there's also difference between first and business.
Right. What is the difference?
The service, for example, on Emirates, on first class, you will have a shower, then you will have your own little cabin, then there's a bar on board. We actually spent like a lot of time at the bar and like hanging out with the flight attendants. It was the funnest flight for sure.
Hey guys, here's what most people do when they want to build wealth. They download another freebie, they try to piece together random advice from TikTok and YouTube and end up stuck, overwhelmed, inconsistent, and spinning their wheels. But that is not how you create true freedom. If you're ready for something smarter, deeper, and actually aligned with your life, book an Audacious Wealth breakthrough call with me. This is not cookie cutter coaching. This is where we look at your gifts, your vision, and your numbers. And we build a bold, personalized blueprint to help you turn your income into impact, your time into freedom, and your ideas into legacy. You've done the DIY hustle. Now it's time for strategy that fits like it was made for you because it was. Spots are limited, so head to the show notes and claim yours now. So I'm assuming that you used points for that, right? But if you hadn't have used points for that, how much would that have cost roughly?
15,000 per person.
So 30 grand for the two of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you mind if I ask how much you ended up paying for it? Like maybe the points didn't cover all of it. Maybe you had to pay something for it. So
yeah, so usually you have to pay the taxes.
Okay.
I think we ended up paying like $269 per person on taxes. And if I'm not wrong, it was 120,000 points per person. I'm pretty sure that was it.
And I'm assuming that's a ton of points. Like I don't have any reference for like how many points are a lot and how long it takes you to get 120,000 points. But for a $15,000 ticket and experience, I imagine that is quite a lot of points.
Yeah, and this was the best experience. So, and you can drink unlimited Dom Perignon and caviars. It's like fine dining in the air.
Oh my God. Okay. I don't have a bucket list actually. And so I'm creating one right now and I'm adding that to it.
Yes, I recommend for everyone to write a bucket list. We created actually our bucket list back in Thailand when we met, and my bucket list is still very long, but we have like airline bucket list, hotel bucket list, destination bucket list. So there are like all these different categories.
Okay, so
But
I'm writing go to Dubai on first class Emirates. Is that
yeah,
right?
and also you asked me the difference in business class, have shower or a bar, or even the champagne was not Dom Perignon, it was Moët. I mean, it's a difference if you check the price.
Okay. So you just don't get to shower, but you get to still drink, just not the highest end stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
No, but if you're gonna do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one, so double check the route. I know they open some new routes too, but the one from New York to Dubai, that's the bomb.
Okay, and so what would have happened if you had flown from, let's say, Miami?
Yeah, we actually flew the one time from Miami on business. And as I said, we've seen the difference. It's a normal business class where you get also nice food, nice service, but there's a difference. In first class, usually, depending on the plane type, there's just 6, 10, there's not so many seats. So you're extra VIP and you will feel the difference and the treatment.
Okay. And would that be, since there's not so many seats, if it's just a smaller plane, that makes me think that the price of the ticket would be higher for less. Is that true? Or
What
do you
do you
think
mean
it's
on first class?
like if you're not in a double-decker plane and there's only like, I don't know, 8 first class seats or business class seats, I'm assuming that maybe because there's fewer first class space or business class space, they're more expensive?
Actually, so that's why it's important to know the plane type, because in the price, sometimes there's not even a difference.
Okay.
So you pay the same amount,
Oh,
but
but you just
the
get a
experience and the service won't be the same.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why the research is important. And then what tools I use to know all this?
Yeah.
Yeah, first, it's a very simple one. Like I use to check the routes on Flight Connection. That's like, it's free, so you can use that. Once I know the route, for example, in this case, we know that New York to Dubai, it's a good one. Then the best tool is seats.aro. So it's seats.aero is the best tool to research for the best point redemption. So you can just put in the search bar, for example, North America to Europe or Asia, and then it will show you the best city from go to and the best city to arrive. So you have to be a little flexible sometimes.
Okay. But just to get the most for your points that you have.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to give a perspective, like overseas flights on business class, because there's not always first class available, they shouldn't cost more than like 60,000 points, 60,000 miles. It's a pretty good redemption. Most of the business class flights, like American, British, they're around $8,000. So you can fly with 60,000 points, which you can get with one new credit card, right? With the sign-up bonus.
Okay. And so I just thought of the question, like, let's say somebody doesn't have, I don't know, maybe the best credit, like maybe they have 635 credit and maybe they don't have a ton of credit cards. And I'm also maybe answering my question from the previous thing that you said about applying for 10 cards at the same time. But like, what is a smaller, easier way for somebody to get started in travel hacking? Maybe their credit isn't the greatest. They're trying to kind of build it up. What do you think would be the first step for them?
For example, there are always airline and transfer offers. So just turn on the notification, even from American Express. For example, like I'm going to Europe actually in 2 days. And I found this Air France flight from Ottawa because I'm in Canada now, to Paris for just 50,000 points. And what I did, there was an offer in summer, a transfer offer from American Express that you get 30% more if you transfer to Air France or KLM or Flying Blue. It's the membership name, right? So I did that. I bought points. So I had to buy pretty much, what is it, like 40,000 points. And it cost me $900, $915 or something like that. So you can buy points as well. There are sometimes offers at the airline or transfer offers. If you utilize those bonuses, you can do this also without having US credit. So this flight, I think this business class flight is a little cheaper. It would be in cash price like 4,100, but still I'm flying for $900 pretty much because I bought the points.
Okay. And so how do you teach people how to do this? Like, do you do travel hacking coaching or like what exactly, what's your process?
So we have like a mentorship program where we teach pretty much step by step from building personal credit, building business credit, getting funding, doing the funding applications, credit card stacking, and also how to do travel hacking. And then we have a membership portal to a school group where we have bi-weekly calls. So yeah, that's the main channel how we teach people. So
okay. And what is credit card stacking?
Yeah, credit card stacking is pretty much what I was explaining before when you apply for more credit cards at the same time to be able to get less inquiries.
Yeah, that's something too that we tell clients, like, because with the strategy, the wealth building strategy that I'm teaching my clients, they need to have lines of credit. And you can use credit cards as well because it's a revolving line of credit. So that's what we typically tell people is like apply for everything right around the same time so that things will drop off right around the same time. It's like if you apply every 3 months for something new, you're always going to have inquiries on there.
Yes, exactly. And then if they are applying on the business side, usually it won't report on the personal side, right?
Is there any company that you find to be more generous with business credit when it comes to credit cards like Amex or Capital One? Is it easier to get business credit with any of those in particular?
I wouldn't say easier, but still on the business side as well, Chase is my favorite because you can get up to $150,000 with no documents. And yes.
Just based on your personal stuff?
Yeah, so we work with our relationship bankers. They just got our client like 270K credit card, the 0% credit cards, the Chase Inks, and which they can leverage for their business. They have also a lot of transfer partners, right? You can transfer points. And also another tip, all for the business owners here, if you are traveling and you are doing videos or you're doing marketing, you're working, you can write off your trips, right? So applying for travel business credit cards, it's another option to leverage it more.
Okay, so we talked about some hurdles that entrepreneurs face when it comes to finding financing, primarily just like having to use your personal information as a guarantee, having to have credit scores that are somewhere around 700 or higher. Is there anything else in terms of hurdles that we didn't mention when it comes to maybe business financing?
Yeah, I think that the biggest hurdle is the credit score.
Yeah.
Or if people have something negative on the profile, because that has to be removed first.
Right.
And another one is they don't know what to put on the application.
Oh, I did hear this recently. Okay.
Yeah, that too. The third, most very important part, how is your business set up? That's like the basis. Your business should look like a professional business, right? With an info at email, with ideally an 1-800 number.
Okay.
Have your addresses right. Some banks won't accept virtual addresses. They say use your personal if you have an online business.
But do they kind of look down on that if your business address is your personal home address?
Yes, but so still recommend to have like a virtual address, but it still looks more professional. Some banks will say use your home address.
And when you say a virtual address, what exactly does that mean? Is that like a PO box?
No. So PO box on the application is a big no-no.
Oh.
There are some companies like Regis, for example, who like you pay a monthly fee and they collect your mail and everything. So it's a virtual office.
And they just remail it to your home address or wherever you want it sent?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
interesting.
actually, we have to pick it up, but
Oh, okay. But that's interesting. See, I had no idea that it's like a flag on the application if you're putting your home address or you have a virtual or PO box
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, PO box is a no. So what industry is your business registered? For example, what NAICS code is your business? It's like, it's just a categorization. You
Right.
can go to naics.com and check it. The best and the low risk industries are always consulting. So even if you are in real estate, you have to tell the banker you're consulting in real estate.
And that's
Because
so weird because I would think that consulting is a flag
no.
because like you could say you're a consultant and you make no money.
Yeah,
Right.
but no, that's like the low risk because in the banker's perspective, real estate is a high risk industry, or there are other industries which are high risk. So whatever you're doing, just put like you say consulting, because a lot of the banks they won't look up your actual NAICS code.
Yep.
How did you register? So that's what I say. When you go in, you have to present yourself. You're a consultant, you're looking to expand. You will need money for marketing and for more staff members. You're looking to make a million in next year. It's good also to exaggerate a little bit.
Okay. I love
Your projections, because so there's a hack. Like the relationship banker said how it works. Usually your ask amount. So your revenue should be 12 times your ask amount.
Your revenue should be 12 times your ask amount.
Yes, exactly. So
So
for
your
example,
ask amount needs to be much smaller than your revenue.
yes. So let's say you ask for $100,000, the banks will approve you for sure if your business is making like 1.2 million.
Okay. And so they need to see evidence that your business has already made this amount. This is not about what you expect to make next year.
I mean, if you're applying for business credit cards, as I said, like Chase and some other banks, you can get up to $150,000 with no documents or no tax returns, nothing. So if you ask less than that, if you're asking like 100,000, you should be fine.
And do you think it's better to go physically into the bank and apply for these things versus applying for them online?
Definitely, a relationship banker can help a lot because they can push your application in underwriting. Yeah, Chase, Citizens, there are some banks. US Bank, Bank of America is also very relationship based. So they like to, even before applying, Chase, Bank of America, they want you to have also a business checking account with them and seeing like some traction there, put money in, paid off and stuff like that. So
what is the best business or financial advice you've ever received?
oh, that's a good one. In general, I would say like business, definitely I love this little quote, like start before you're ready. Or start it and figure out the rest later. I love this because that's what I did when I quit my job and I'm like, I will figure it out somehow.
Yeah,
And
you burned the boats.
yes. I mean, you know, what's the worst case scenario? You can always go back to your job or to your old life. But I don't want to be old and thinking I regret not trying this, right? So that's for business. Financial advice, definitely like leveraging credit as much as possible. Look what like the rich people do or like what the Cardons do. Although they could afford to pay cash for real estate, why would they do that when they could go and get free real estate, right?
Yeah. No, that I love that you said that. And I actually would like to hear you talk a little bit more about that because I think, again, in the financial coaching that I do, it requires you using leverage to make investments. So basically, if you have $500 or let's say you have $1,000 extra every month, instead of just investing that $1,000 and waiting for it to accumulate, we are borrowing $5,000, investing that, and then paying that off with our $1,000 in like 4 months. And then we do it again. So we're using leverage to invest more than what we actually have available to us right now, which allows us to build wealth much faster than traditional investing. But so I'd love to hear more from you about, do you say that? Why leveraging credit as much as possible? Because I feel like most people are scared to use credit or to leverage things. The houses they're totally comfortable with. Let me buy a house and have a $650,000 mortgage, but leveraging it for other things freaks them out.
Yes, I agree. And I think everything comes from the money mindset. And me growing up in Hungary, my fiance in Colombia, it's even worse. You pay everything in cash, and here credit is bad. And if you have a mortgage, you don't even own the house. That's what I heard from my dad growing up. And I'm like, oh my God, until I learned about credit and learned how much it's possible with it, because even banks are giving out these 0% credit cards, and it's a lot of times 0% for a year. So you could do, like, I don't know, for example, if you're doing fix and flips. So you could buy all the things and renovate the property with that credit card, and you will get the ROI within a year. So
it's free money.
Exactly. That's why I prefer to leverage 0% credit cards than loans, because on loans you have to pay already interest, right?
Yes, I love that. And with leveraging lines of credit and credit cards, if you are paying them off within a certain period of time, like the 0% interest credit cards, you're not paying any interest. With a loan, you are paying a fixed amount of interest no matter how quickly you pay that off. So I love to hear you say that too. And I think too, something really important is if you are going to leverage, as long as you have a plan and then maybe a backup plan on how you're going to pay that leverage off, you're good. You're fine, right? It's about using all this leverage, creating debt, and having zero plan on how that's going to be paid off. That's where it becomes a problem.
Exactly. And also, disclaimer, I'm not a tax expert, but by buying more properties, by buying more investments, you will pay less taxes. So that's another benefit, right? What the rich people do. And we should follow, I always say you should always learn from people you want to trade lives with. Like, you shouldn't listen to people who you don't want to trade lives with, right?
Ooh, you're going to give me some good Instagram posts. All these quotes from Gina Travellina. Okay, last question. What does the word audacity mean to you?
To me, it means boldness, like going all in and just taking a risk pretty much, and do what you love, try it, go do it. And if it doesn't work, you learn from your failure and you do it again. You try something else.
Yeah, like you quitting your job and going to Australia and just being like, hey, I'm going to figure it out.
Yes, and it's sometimes your first idea or your first business, maybe you won't be your last business, but at least you started. And once you start, then you will see, okay, what am I really passionate about? Nowadays it's so easy to make money online. You don't even have to have your own product. You can be an affiliate, right? It's like, if you like someone's product, you can just go on the internet and sell it.
Yeah, you're right. You can. Oh my God. I feel like we make things more complicated than they need to be. Or it's just shiny object syndrome, right? We have too many options. If like that is your goal to like find something on the internet that you want to sell, then you get stuck because maybe you have 10 different things that you're like, okay, I could sell all these. And then you just never get started because too many choices, right? But yeah, I think there's so many ways to make money, but also it's the money mindset, right? We need to know when money is coming in, what's the best way to use it? And how do we take advantage of the offerings that are already out there so that we don't have to spend the money that we're bringing in, or we make it go further?
And then if you guys want to travel more, I would recommend to pay everything with credit card, because you're missing out on points. Like, I don't know if you knew, but you can pay even rent and everything.
Built.
Yes, on the Built credit card. It's a pretty new card from Wells Fargo. I like it. On rent too, but they are like websites. It's called Plastiq. With the
I've heard of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't have the bill card, just go to Plastiq. Yes, you will pay the 3%, but you will get the points. So I would recommend to pay everything with points, and also to be smart, check your credit card benefits and pay the right thing with the points. For example, the American Express Gold card is good for restaurants. It's give you 4 times points, and for Facebook ads too. So for Facebook ads, American Express Gold or the Chase Ink, it's pretty good too. Then the Built is good for the rent, right? And then if you have like branded credit cards like the Marriott, you get, I think, 7 times points in merit. So make sure you use always the right credit cards with the right expenses to have even more points. And
So
then
I know that you mentioned your mentorship program that you guys offer. What are some, like maybe even before they get to that point, what are some good resources they can go to? I mean, maybe it's your website, or maybe I want to share all of that information too, but is there any, I don't know, book or podcast or YouTube video series that is really good for this?
for travel hacking, I would say I post a lot of tips on my Instagram
You do.
on Gina
Yes.
Travelina. On travel hacking, I don't know, like there are just a few people in the industry who are really talking about it. Like another good Instagram is what's his name? Travel Like Tommy. He was actually a speaker on our mentorship, like a guest speaker. And yeah, pretty much that's it.
Okay. Travel Like Tommy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your Instagram is Gina Travelina.
Yeah, with
And
double L.
double L. Okay. And you guys also, I saw that you have one that you do kind of with your fiance for Credit to Millions. Is that the Instagram handle? Credit to the number 2 millions with a Z at the end?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then
That
he
one
also
too.
has one.
Yes, exactly. And his is I am at Soto. So yeah, we give a lot of travel tips. If you have any questions, just message me, message us,
Yeah.
and we can help you. It's one way we teach in our mentorship. Or if you are looking for funding, we also do a done for you service. So for busy entrepreneurs who don't want to learn all these advanced strategies, we can do it for you as well.
Okay.
So there are different ways we can help you.
Amazing. Yeah. So, guys, if you are starting a business, if you already have a business and you need money, reach out to Gina and see what she can do for you. And really learn about this travel hacking, because we are missing out on opportunities here. I want to be in that first class Dubai flight or whatever that was. I want to be showering a million feet up in the air.
Exactly. That's the coolest thing. So
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Gina, for being here and sharing all of this. You've now inspired me, and now I'm kind of scared that I'm going to become obsessive about this travel hacking. I don't have time. I'm going to be one of those people who just calls you and asks you to do it for me.
I will. I'm the happiest when I see our clients. Or there was one client, he's just 20. He was flying on business class to Japan, and he started his own business, and that's
He's
amazing.
20. If
Yeah,
he can do it, we can do it.
exactly. Age doesn't matter. You can start anytime. Make sure your credit is on point always. You will need in life everywhere. So
Okay, and on that note too, you said you guys particularly do not do credit repair, but you can refer clients to somebody to help with credit
exactly.
repair. Okay. All right, guys. So yeah, definitely reach out to Gina about all things credit related.
Yes, I'm excited to help you guys.
Okay, lady. Well,
Amazing.
safe travels.
Thank you, and see you after in Miami.
Hopefully see you soon.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Okay, you too. Bye.